This is the second part to day 4 of our detox, and I wanted to do a separate video for you for a specific reason. I want to come back to the point I have made previously, and that is to ask the question, why are you detoxing? It's easy to watch this and go, yeah, this looks great, I want to do this. But usually there's two types of people. There are those that will do it because they feel they have to do it. There are those that do it because they feel they need to do it out of a desperation. And there are those on the other side that genuinely do it, like ourselves, that have got a passion for feeling and being healthy, for cleansing their bodies and doing the best you can to keep your body at an optimum state. Now, don't get me wrong, there's no right or wrong here, but my belief is that when you're driving it with a passion rather than a need or a feeling of have to or feeling obligated to, the difference is the person that's passionate, that really wants to do it because they have a passion for feeling healthy, they will go through the lows in a detox a lot easier than somebody that feels they've got to do it because they feel obligated to try and do something with their health, otherwise X, Y and Z. And by the way, that can also be a good reason, because we're driven by two things, pleasure and pain. You're driven towards what you want to achieve, or you're driven away from what you don't want to achieve. And I've been privileged enough to help thousands of people across the world in the world of finance and building wealth and wealth creation, and we have clients that I mentor on a personal level. And I always say the same thing: if you want to make more money, you've got to know why you're doing this. Don't feel that you have to do it or you're feeling pressurized to do it. A detox is just the same, because if you're going into a business opportunity or property investment, whatever it is, and you have challenges and you don't have a really strong reason, people often give up. Same thing with this. Everything you do is anything you do, which is, I think, one of the things that T. Harv Eker talks about. So let's talk about that. Let's address what my beliefs are and what I've learnt about cleansing and some of the reasons why you might be doing this. Because if you're going through a cleanse, it's very easy, days 3, days 2, to give up and go back to the start. Now I've got some notes that I've written here I want to just get across to you, so bear with me as I go through this. The first thing I want to make a note of is this. For me personally, it's about clearing toxins out of the body. Doesn't matter how healthy you are and how healthy you eat, there will always be a certain level of toxins in your body. And the great thing about a detox is you can do it in a healthy way, enjoy the process. Yes, you will get a little bit of a drawdown sometimes, but that's because your body is releasing. It's having a break from all this stuff that's coming at it. You're getting lots of good nutrients in there, get lots of greens and neutral foods in there, you're having lots of water in there, and it's allowing the system to clear out and have a break, and then boom, flushes out. The colonic adds extra weight to that as well. The other thing I wrote down here as a reminder really for me to tell you, excuse my hand, is the clearing of mucus. I used to be a big dairy drinker. Now somebody that drinks a lot of dairy, you'll get mucus build-up. You'll find phlegm here, especially if you go out and you go for a run or you do exercise or you get a cold, for example. It's not unusual for dairy eaters. You know, lots of, and I'll still have a little bit of dairy. Don't get me wrong, but it's all about balance. We aim for 80–85% good quality food and 15% slightly less quality, but that's about enjoying certain foods. I love my Thai food, for example, and you can't necessarily go to a restaurant and have raw Thai food. You have to have cooked, so that'll have some dairy in there as well. But I balance that with, you know, a very strong healthy diet as well. So you're going to get mucus build up. Now I don't have anything like the mucus that I used to get. In fact, I barely get anything at all these days. And when I do notice it is when I've had a meal which maybe has had involved a little bit of dairy in it. But when I was drinking a lot of milk back in the old days, eating lots of cheese and things like that, you're going to get mucus build up. The other area that mucus builds up massively, apart from here, it's basically all down the system, is right through the colon. I mean, if you think about, you don't know what I'm talking about? You take a bottle of milk and leave it in the fridge long enough, maybe a month or a week or whatever, and then you pour that out, you know exactly what it's going to look like and smell like. If you take cheese and leave it, or you know, and you mix cheese with a bit of water and try and break it down, it goes very slimy. That is exactly the deposit that occurs down in your colon area when you're eating dairy, for example, and lots of cheese. And it lines the colon. So you imagine this clear glass here now. Imagine that completely lined with all this mucus, which really is a deposit from eating lots of dairy products. Now, if you're putting food and nutrition down the system, the nutrition can't get out through the mucus. So you get this build-up effect. And in fact, the colon is like this. It's shaped like this. It's sinusoidal, like a corrugated pipe. And the mucus builds up inside the corrugated pipe, along with the meat, along with all the other rubbishy foods that people eat. Bread being another classic example of this. It deposits. I mean, think about bread. You know, if you leave bread, it kind of goes mouldy and can form a hard. That can do the same thing in your colon. So your colon, instead of being like this, which is a big surface area, suddenly becomes smooth because all of the sinusoidal fat parts are actually packed. And without being too graphic, when you go through a colonic irrigation, that's what gets flushed out. It's all these little bits and it gets cleaned out, so now your colon is clear and open to receiving lots of good nutrient. Hopefully you're getting the picture. So mucus is a big one. Congestion is another one. Again, congestion in the sinus, in the throat, and congestion down here. Blockages down in your system. People that don't go regularly, which typically should be 3 times a day. Every meal you have, you should be clearing out. If you're not doing that, then there's a blockage, and that's again what a detox does. It allows your system to cleanse out. It dumps a lot of stuff, and then the colonic irrigation goes up and pulls it back down again by flushing in and out. And that's why, in fact, really you should be going for several colonics, not just one. You need several because sometimes it can't get up there. It's like, you may have done this before, trying to fill up a hose pipe and it's blocked. You know, the water goes down maybe about 4 meters, but you know it's not quite there. And you put a bit more water on, you shake the hose, and the hose starts to straighten out. That's like a blockage in the colon. Hard fecal matter stuck there, all this mucus and all these deposits in there. As you go up with a colonic and you go back up and down, that's like turning the hose on and off, and suddenly the pipe starts to unravel and the blockage undoes, and then the water goes a little bit further down the pipe, the hose pipe, and then it blocks again. And then there's another knot there that has to be released. The same thing happens with your system when you're going through colonic irrigation. So these hard blockages will be linked with hard fecal matter, mucus and all these things. This is all stuff that, you know, if anyone really goes through a colonic, you'll find it comes out. It may even come out, even your urine, to be frank, actually changes colour and will have a different odour because toxins are coming out through your system. All the more reason to keep drinking water. Why are we toxic? And I've written a whole bunch of things down here just to really remind me to remind you. Poor diet is number one. It's primarily the biggest reason. Fast food, junk food, white processed breads. A lot of people drink white processed breads, lots of dairy products. It's packed in. Here in Scandinavia, people love bread with their breakfast. They put lots of cheese on it and jam. And we'll have that sometimes when we're here with the family, but we have it in moderation, knowing that we've got a balanced diet with lots of greens and everything. And it's part of the culture here. But if you're doing that all the time, eating lots of heavy meats, imagine that's going into a system that's not really designed for all that, especially the processed material, and bang, it starts to block up. Then you have excessive alcohol, which again destroys the system, but that's another subject to talk about. Drug abuse, that puts deposits. I'm not just talking about the colonic system now. It goes into your stomach, it goes into your colon, small intestines. Things start to filter out into the blood system, into the lymphatic system. So your blood becomes toxic. That's why if you look at somebody with live analysis under a blood cell analysis, you can actually see the blood looks kind of murky, for want of a better description. Environmental impact. We're taking in toxins all the time through smoke. You're in a city, you get soot up in your nose, that goes into your body, deposits there. So you've got to give your body a chance to clear out. If you don't do it, it's going to fill up. It's just the same way with a vacuum cleaner. If you go and take a vacuum cleaner and you suck around a house like this, eventually the bag will fill up. You'll see all the dust there, which has come through, and some of that finds its way out of your body. That's why you eat and go to the loo, eat and go to the loo. But some of it can't find its way out and it's stuck in the filter bag. Your body is effectively the filter bag. Stress is another thing. If you're overworked, your adrenaline, you're running on adrenal glands pumping all the time, that's another reason you get toxic build-up in your body, believe it or not. I've got stuff like this written down. Oxidated fats, cholesterol, heavily cooked fried food. Again, leaves deposits. It's not natural. The body was not designed for that. So, of course, it doesn't know what to do with it and it builds up. And then the liver obviously builds a lot of that up and holds it there. You get liver stones, all this stuff. With a cleanse, a lot of that dumps through. So if you want to know why you're doing this, I think that's a pretty good reason. And hopefully you've got the picture here that this is not just about an instant fix. This is about a long-term health process. Try and do a detox a year, maybe one every 6 months. Try and at least increase the amount of good quality food that you're putting into your body, and that will raise your energy levels. People always come to me a weekend and say, my God, you've been going 3 or 4 days, put on your feet for like 8, 9, 10, 12 hours. How can you maintain this energy? Here's why. It's what you put into your body. And what you put into your body up here. Those two things alone will define who you show up into the world as. If you want to be lazy and slobby, then that's fine. Carry on the way you are if you're in that place right now, and you're happy with that. I'm not criticising that. But if you want to change in dynamics, if you want to feel more vital, then it's really important to change what you put into your body, cleanse it all out, and get on a new path. That's why I'm doing it, and that's why I'm sharing this with you, because hopefully it will inspire you to do the same thing.